So now I just need to think about what to say to open. Do you know how to say any greetings in Icelandic?
No.
Okay, so we won't go there.
Okay, you got me off guard. Yeah, okay.
What's going on, Eurovoxers? Guten Abend, Dominik. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be talking about Iceland because, of course, they have huge shoes to fill after last year's performance in Tel Aviv. Of course, it was Hatari with Hatred Munsigra, a huge, big performance that was also quite controversial because of the characters that they were and the things that they did. But it's a really, really tough act to follow, and it's going to be one of the five acts from Söngvakeppnin. I'll try that again when we actually get into it, but let's talk about it. So we've already seen two semifinals for Söngvakeppnin. I hope that's at least a little bit close to how it's supposed to be said. And now it's down to five artists. Originally, it was a list of 10, and now we've got five who are competing for the chance to represent Iceland at the Eurovision Song Contest in Rotterdam. Dominik, tell me about how you feel about these five songs.
So I'm very happy that Iceland has a lot of variety. You really can't deny that there's so different songs, and they have, I think, three different languages in total. So
Hmm.
I think now three of them are in English, one of them only Icelandic, and one of them is Icelandic and Latin.
Hmm.
So that's very interesting.
It's definitely very interesting, and it's a variety of styles, as you said. Like one really doesn't compare to the other. They're totally different. So I think that this is going to be a really exciting night to follow. And so let's get into it. I think we, of course, have to talk about first one of the huge favorites, and that would be Eva with Oculis Videre.
Yeah, I love it. So the first time I listened to it, I was like, wow, I just enjoyed it. I wasn't thinking, I was just really feeling it and just enjoying the whole song. It was like I'm taking a shower of just beautiful music. So weird, but yeah, just that's just how I felt. So I'm very happy that she's participating, and I hope she's gonna win this.
Hmm. I'm curious. Do you know the meaning behind this song? Because I've heard some discussion about it, and oculis videre means the eyes see, which of course has significance to Eva because she was born blind. So do you know about the whole concept of the song?
So I have listened to the song once in English, the other times were in Icelandic, and that's obviously the important part because she will sing it in Icelandic.
Hmm.
But I think it has something to do with her, with her blindness, and I think that's also part of the song.
Hmm.
And it's very poetic, like the way she's speaking or like the lyrics are. It's very like a poetry, like a poem, basically. So that's
Hmm.
very interesting, especially
Very.
for a song like this. Yeah, although it fits though, the music fits to this poetic language.
Yeah, well, it has this kind of mystical, almost like a what's the word? Almost like something out of mythology, right? Looking at the lyrics in English, it has this kind of oracle aspect of it. Like she says, "You come to me but cannot hear. Your answers drown in mortal fear. A storm is brewing high at sea. The gods are looking down on thee." So it really sounds like she's kind of warning people about what's to come, and I really love this idea of her being able to see into the future despite not being able to see physically. Now, let's talk about how competitive of a song this is, because obviously it's going up against four very different songs, one of which is also a big time favorite. How do you feel about its winning potential?
I have pretty high hopes because it really stands out, not just in this national final, but it would also stand out in Eurovision, that's for sure. And it's very different in terms of the language because the other favorite sings in English, which may be a disadvantage for the national final because I can imagine that Icelandic guys really identify with Icelandic. So if it comes down to English or Icelandic, they might stick to Eva, which is an advantage for her.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think she has. good chances, especially for the jury. So, because the first round in the final will be half jury and televote, and I can imagine this winning by far. So, I'm pretty sure she will advance to the super final with only 2 acts left. Then it's only down to the televote, though. So, I'm not sure if she can actually win that. That's the most important question.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that most people are predicting that it's going to come down to those two. So let's talk about the other favorite. This is, of course, Daði Freyr with the song Think About Things. Where do we even begin with this one? It's got this like 70s funk vibe going and lots of synthesizers, and it's just like oozing with humor. Tell me, how do you feel about it?
So, the first time I've listened to it was Icelandic, and I was like, nah, I don't like it because I don't understand the whole joke. It's like very fun lyrics, and the choreography was amazing at the first time, obviously. Using 2 microphones at once.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. New invention, basically. Hilarious. However, like the song itself, it was quirky and it was fun, but the joke itself, because of the lyrics, wasn't really getting to me. But now they translated it to English, and that's in this case a good thing because now you can really identify with it. It's very different to Eva because she's like just doesn't really matter what she's saying because it's just like I have said, like a shower of nice music. And in his case, like from let me say Daði and the band basically,
Yeah.
it's very important to understand the lyrics because otherwise it's like okay, it might turn into something too silly. There's a fine line between being funny and being like quirky and stuff and being too ridiculous. I have an example, like 2011, I don't know if you know this one, is from Portugal. Because there were 5 or 6 comedians and they were singing in Portuguese,
Yeah.
and maybe this was so hilarious and so funny, but no one understood it, And then it was totally pointless because musically there wasn't really much going on, so of course it didn't qualify. However, in this case, translating in English, keeping the choreography the same way, it's a very good decision for them. So I'm pretty confident that he is also, or like the band is also coming to the to the super final, and then we will see how it goes.
I think you made a lot of really good points. I don't really have a lot to add, other than the fact that
Sorry.
no, it's fine, it's fine. Other than the fact that I do know Portugal 2011, and I do actually like it, but I also know some Portuguese, so that kind of helps. So your
Okay.
point is taken. But as you said, this will be performed in English if it goes to Rotterdam, and I also want to say that. I wasn't completely sold on this until I saw the music video because I just feel like it took the humor to such a new level with the way that the family is mortified by this performance for some reason.
Like doing this to the kids, it was hilarious.
and I love that on stage they keep that one moment in the bridge where they're looking in all the different angles and
also behind the stage.
Yeah, and then they look behind themselves. So like this entry is a lot of fun. For me, I have to say that I do prefer this now a little bit more to Eva, but it's like literally just by a hair. I would be so happy for either of them to represent Iceland. I do feel like when we're talking about the expectations for following up to Hattari, that this is probably the better one. But again, by a hair. So apart from Eva and Daði, of course, there are another 3 acts that, as much as they might not have the same kind of hype behind them, anything can happen. We can't put too much confidence into things because that's when disappointments happen. So let's talk about Nina first. She was, of course, the wild card that was chosen by the jury from the second semifinal. How do you feel about Echo?
Honestly, I have heard it like 3 times and I can't remember it, so that's not a good sign. For me, I think her voice is pretty nice, but I got the feeling of like Iceland 2001 vibe, like a bit dated for 2020 personally. So I don't know. It's nothing for me, at least.
I'll say that I can see why the juries chose this as a wild card because it has a really kind of I don't know. It's got a nice blend of what seemed to me at least like Nordic sounds as well as the electronic synth and drums. I do agree with you in the sense that it is perhaps a little bit dated, but I think that she does justice to the performance. And earlier when we were talking about the variety that Söngvakeppnin has this year, it just seems to fit. It seems to have a place in the final. So as much as I don't think that this is really going to be the winner, I think that this will be a nice moment, and I find it very, very pleasing as well. It's something that actually did stick with me, the melody, after listening to it for the first time. So I have really nothing bad to say about this. So let's talk about the only duo in the selection. It's Zoltan and Helga with the song Meet Me Halfway. Your thoughts on them?
I like them, and I especially get like, I don't know about you, but I get ABBA feelings in the second half of the song. I don't know. I was just closing my eyes and imagining, okay, just listen to it, and then I thought, okay, that could be ABBA as well, because basically only the females were singing in ABBA as well, so that's possible. Yeah, I like it. It's not my favorite, to be honest, but I like it. It's fine, and I'm happy that it's there because it also brings variety.
That's a really interesting point because I didn't think of that, but now that you've mentioned it, I know exactly what you're talking about. It does have a bit of an ABBA vibe, and it's a blonde and a brunette, isn't it? Performing? Yeah. Okay. So that speaks ABBA to me at least. But apart from that, I do think that they have great harmonies and great singing overall. They look great and interact with each other. I think that watching them is a very nice experience, and I would say that they are everything that Sisters from last year should have been,
Shady.
which is fine. It's fine if you enjoyed Sisters. There's no shade.
No, it's fine. I won't defend Sisters as a German, okay?
but anyone who does, because I think that there are redeeming things for that song. I just think that it had potential that didn't quite get met. But anyway, we're talking about Isolde and Helga right now.
Okay, focus.
So the only thing that I really have to say about this is that it's just lacking a competitive element of it, and a bit of a modern touch that could really bring this a little bit higher. Because I do think that vocally it's all there. I think it just needs something like a better instrumental that gives it a little bit more pop. But nonetheless, it's an enjoyable experience. Last but not least, we have Dimma with their song Almikbi. Of course, they're bringing that rock moment that we all appreciate in these national selections. How do you feel about their song?
Yeah, it's typical rock song, I would say. I really appreciate that it's an Icelandic because it stands out because of that. I normally don't listen to Icelandic music, obviously. So that's good. However, I really, really, really don't like rock music. So that's like, it's good that it's there for the fans, but it's not for me.
I've looked into this because Dimma is, I believe, a pretty well-known band, or at least like they have a fan base. At least they're not newcomers to this. And what the fans seem to be saying is that while they like the song, they don't feel like it was the best choice for them to bring to this kind of selection. And I mean, I have to say that it, as much as it is the rock moment that the show needs, it just does feel quite conventional. I've heard lots of songs like it before, so I can see where they're coming from, and maybe it would just be a matter of trying again with something else. But nonetheless, I think that this will still be appreciated by people who love that rock moment, because we know who they are, Clara. But yeah, so again, not as competitive as the other ones, but certainly one that will be appreciated. if we're talking realistically, who do you think it is going to be that wins?
That's so difficult. I really think it's 50-50. I can see a distinctive winner. I don't see a favorite, but I'm pretty sure it's one of these two. So as you already see, we have talked a lot about the first two and not a lot about the other three. So that's a sign, I think. The thing is, it's so difficult to say, although they are so different. And that's what I like about national finals, because it brings so much variety and you have to compare them, and it's not really possible to compare them, and you can't really say who the winner will be. So that's awesome.
Totally. In an alternate universe, I wish that one of these could win and then the other could go represent another country.
Oh, which one?
For the sake of it being Iceland, and for the fact that I really like when Iceland leans into their humor, it would be Daði, and then Eva. I don't know, almost anyone else. which isn't to say that I don't have favorites from other countries. It's just that I think that it has an elegance that
San Marino.
Wouldn't be a bad choice, but she would need to fund her own performance. So guys, those have been our thoughts on Söngvakeppnin. Please let me know in the comments, firstly, how do you say Söngvakeppnin correctly? Then tell us, which is your favorite? Which one do you want to be representing Iceland at Rotterdam in Eurovision? And reach out to us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to Eurovoxx if you haven't done so. And the website is eurovoxx.net. Find us there, find our articles. We're talking about Eurovision all the time. And we'll see you next time. Take care.